Welcome back to another edition of the Are We Not Men Show, a show for men, by men, promoting thoroughness, condemning drippiness. And we got a show for you. I got my main man P with me this weekend, and we got a special guest this weekend. I want to welcome my man Steve to the show. Everybody, welcome Steve to the show.
What up, Steve?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on to the show, Steve, man. Today's topic, man, is kind of a serious topic. Is pretty much sweeping the nation. It's pretty much going on just about everywhere. Any major city you go to, this is pretty much taking place, man. And we want to talk about gentrification. And for those who don't know what gentrification is, it's pretty much where people with resources come into an area that lack resources and pretty much rebuild that area and displace the people without resources. Um, like I said, if you saw in the beginning, I just had a slide. It showed like what the pros and cons of gentrification is. Now, one of the pros is that yes, you have an influx of resources coming into a area that didn't have much going on for it, which that creates a lot of job opportunity, a lot of growth, raises the property values, the tax base, and everything as such. You also get a lot of more resources just thrown into that area. But the flip side of it is that what nobody really understands is that when you have this type of situation that goes on, you lose a lot of the people that are basically the existing residents are displaced because of such things. Like, yes, it creates job growth and job opportunity, but it's not really for the people that was already living there. And a lot of times the resources aren't really, I guess, I mean, even though they provided, they're not provided for the people that the existing residents of that area. So today, man, and I already talked to you about it, Steve. Like, when you think about what does gentrification mean, and how do you see it as it is today?
It's a good topic, good question. Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. The idea of gentrification, one, it always existed. It's certainly not anything new. It's obviously much more in a limelight today because now people are beginning to come back to urban markets, the cities, right? And so there used to be a time when people wanted to live in the suburbs, and now everybody want to live in, the city. And so I don't care if you go to Brooklyn, if you go to Detroit, if you go to Cleveland, Ohio, you go right here to Raleigh, North Carolina, or Durham, is what you see. And essentially, what it is you have exactly what you said. You got people who have the means to come in and acquire real estate and rehabilitate that real estate and either sell it for a profit, maybe live in it, or possibly rent it out. Usually, it's two of the other options that are taking place, which is they come in, you acquire it, you flip it, essentially the term we like to use, flipping real estate, and then you sell it for a profit. And consequently, the unfortunate part about it, guys, is that the honest to God truth is that it's quite difficult to stop. And here's why. Just think about this for a moment. Let's just say that you actually own a house on 123 Main Street that was near downtown, wherever, around the nation. And 123 Main Street used to not be a very hot location. It used to be a very, quote unquote, problematic area or challenged area. High risk area are usually the terms that are used. But then suddenly it became a location where everybody now wants to be. Well, you're an owner of it.
Right.
And you've been renting it out, maybe Section 8, to, a number of residents for a period of time, and it's cost you a lot of headache because you got to maintain the property, you got to abide by the Section 8 policies, which aren't really easy to abide by, and it's really not much money in it for you. And so then you are approached by someone who is willing to take it off your hands, and they're willing to take it off your hands for a price that is higher than market value in some cases.
Right.
Let's just say that, it's worth, $100,000, but they're like, hey, we'll give you $150,000 for it. How many people are not going to take that deal, right? And so it's not so much the residents, who are simply just getting pushed out because of the fact that, they've lived there for a long time, and if someone else with resources are coming in, you got to also consider the third party, which is the actual owner of that property.
Right.
And the fact that these people are cashing out, and they could be cashing out for a number of reasons. It could be because they're retiring, they got health issues. I mean, there could be so many other reasons, or it could just be the fact that, hey, they just want the money.
And let me ask you this, though. What makes it, what you saying, what makes that area becomes attracted to a person with resources, though? Is it just the fact that it's the property value, or, how does this begin? Because you all, like I said, it's going on everywhere, but how does it really begin? You know what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
like I was looking at something last night about Compton becoming a hot spot for gentrification, and everybody know Compton's historically black. You got a lot of cities out here that have historically black areas in it that are like hotbeds for gentrification. Like, how does that begin?
Well, it starts when the market changes, and it's a herd mentality. The real estate market is no different than a stock market, or let's take what's the most common, the hot thing right now. Everybody's interested in Bitcoin right now, right?
Right.
You go on the news, everybody's saying Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. It's going up to $16,000 or wherever it might be. Well, it's the same type of thing in real estate. It's a particular location becomes hot because everyone, and in this particular case, as it pertains to real estate, people like the idea now of being closer to work. Many of the jobs, bigger jobs, tend to be located in the urban markets nowadays.
Right.
People don't want to drive. People are very much, earth conscious, green conscious. Reducing carbon emissions and all of those sorts of things. So people are getting used, or not getting used, but interested in a lifestyle of not having to drive places or drive far. Biking to work. Being able to easily access. Parks and trails and that sort of thing, and maybe even go out to dinner with their spouse at night. And so that's all interesting. And so as a result, where do you find most of those locations? Where you find them in the urban markets.
Right.
They're not in the suburbs.
True.
Because in the suburbs, you got to drive. Usually a pretty decent way to get to the grocery store. You got to drive to get to the city. And so to answer your question, that's the reason why.
Okay. Now let me, and P, we both from the same place. I know you witnessing it you witnessing it happen right before your eyes. The last time I came back home, I was like, damn, it don't even look the same out there.
Ride down Benham Road,
Hey, for real, brother. I'm talking about
DMV. They got DMV on Benham Road.
They do.
Benco.
I was like, man, this place don't look. I seen, man. You know what? And you seeing this stuff go on right before you. I think one day I was outside. I seen and not to sound. I know I'm gonna sound ignorant by saying this, but I seen like this Caucasian lady push a baby stroller through a group of crackheads, and for some reason, I was kind of disturbed by that. I mean, I know I'm not, because I was just like, I just felt like she shouldn't be that fearless to walk through a crowd of crackheads like that. And I was just like, what's going on with the world? How I wouldn't even walk through a crowd of crackheads, and she just did it.
They're gonna take the city back.
They took it's not a game, brother.
Take
But
the
like
city
I
back.
said, like you seeing it go on right before your eyes, man. And what are your thoughts on it when you seeing it play out like this?
You know, my thoughts are easy and simple. They started talking about it 20 years ago. It just happened a lot slower than they said it was going to happen. You expected it to have happened already, but now we're seeing what they told us 20 years ago. When you and I, we've been graduated from high school for almost 20 years.
Right.
When we were in school is when they were telling us about the gentrification. Now it's 20 years later, and you can definitely see it. I just told you, right down Bennett Road, they got a DMV across from the Benco on Bennett Road and East Capitol Street.
Right.
The shrimp boat is about to be something else. They got some high rises behind the shrimp boat. I don't know what they're about to put right there. It's going on from there down. Hey, they got a trolley on 8th Street. Who's riding a trolley? You know what I'm saying? They put that baseball team in town, it was a sign of things to come.
Right.
Because this is a predominantly African American city, and it's been for most of the time. And how many people like baseball? I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying that we don't. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But the fact that they put that here, that it was coming. Because they had to be about to appeal to the people who like baseball. The other day I was riding on my very own street, going up across, was before I got to the train station that's on Central Avenue and Southern Avenue. I guess that's Capitol Heights Station. Before I could get to Capitol Heights, I was coming back, and there was a white lady on the corner, and it looked like she was waving.
Right.
So I pulled over to the side, and I walked back up to see what was going on, and she said she wasn't beckoning for help. She was waving the traffic away from the situation because an accident had happened. There was glass in the street. She didn't want the people driving through the glass.
Right.
But to make a long story short, it was a white lady that was living in that house right there that's less than half a mile from my house. When we grew up, we didn't go to school with any white people.
Exactly.
There were no white people that went to Woodson.
Exactly.
The only white people we know was Philip, what's his name, from
Philip.
our school in Texas. No white people went to school with us. I didn't meet white people until I went to college.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, I feel you.
So it's just letting you know here, there's a white person living a block of half a mile up the street.
Right.
And it's cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm not selling my house until they give me $1 million. When they come with $1 million, they can have the motherfucker, because I've never been one to be taught to be attached to property.
Exactly.
Especially this is DC, you don't own the property. All you own is the home. You don't own the land.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're getting you in one way or the other. It's federal land. They can take it back anytime they want to. When they come with $1 million, I'm going to get the hell on out of here.
I hear you,
I'm
man.
sit tight and let them gentrify all around me. Niggas be white people all around me. I'm sitting right here on the south side.
Hey, hold out, my brother. Hold out for that check,
South
man.
side.
Hold out for that check. But man, the title of the show was Gentrification versus Revitalization, and really, they basically the same things. Just depends on what team you on. If you lack resources, it's gentrification. If you have resources, it's revitalization. When you and I want to address this question to you, Steve, because you like I said, we seeing it go on just about everywhere. And a lot of times, it's the black and brown people that come up on the short end of it. Is it any way that, it's going to happen anyway, but is it possible for black and brown people to gentrify a location, or is it something that can only occur to us?
I think one, I think it's definitely a possibility for minorities to be able to take on neighborhoods and acquire real estate and begin, calling it their own. Many other minorities have done the same thing. There used to be a time in America when it was essentially broken up into specific ethnic groups, ethnicity. So, if you were Italian, you had, Little Italy. If you were Chinese, you had Little China. You had all these different locations where essentially you go to those particular spots in those cities. As an example, New York City, if they still exist today, it would be predominantly one particular ethnic group. The same is true even still today. I mean, private property rights still exist. And so it's a matter of how many people can come together with resources, and there's a couple of ways that you could do that. Either one, if you are wealthy enough yourself, or even not even just wealthy, but you just got a decent job, right?
Right.
And you decide that, hey, we want to live closer to downtown Raleigh. Well, you can do that. You can do that. You and your wife can decide to sell your house where you currently live and take that money and use that as the down payment for another house that's closer into the city. But I think a lot of, and I'll speak specifically towards black folks because I don't think the Hispanic population is too much the same, but I know that a number of black folks at one particular wanted to get away from other white people.
Right. True.
And so, there used to be a time when black folks would say, I don't want to live around other black folks.
But
And it was simply because, obviously, of all of the crap that was going on in the neighborhoods. And so clearly, there needs and has always needed to be some kind of change because you can't just have a number of poor people in one location.
Right.
I mean, then you're talking about a situation where it's probably going to look very similar to Iraq, right? Where people start stealing and taking from each other, killing each other, whatever that looks like. But if you are a person who, you're fairly financially stable, and you're like, look, let's move in, let's be a part of the solution, let's be a part of the community. Now you're one family that has nothing. Now somebody else decides that they want to do that. Then it's the same thing. And so it's really a shift in mindset, Barry, to where more people start to believe that, hey, we want to take over this community and make it our own. And yes, of course, if you're wealthy enough where you can buy up a block, like Rick Ross is talking about these days,
right.
You can do it. You can do it. You can totally do it.
Well, let me ask you this though. On a like you just said, like when you look at a lot of other ethnicities, you have Little Italy, Little China. How come it's never been like a Little Africa? Or do you think that is something that we could really bring to fruition? Where, like, if we came up with the concept of like a Little Africa, is that something that could drive
100%.
like that could drive like a growth of area for African Americans?
100%, yeah, 100%. I mean, private property rights still exist. You can go into any neighborhood if you got the money, if you got the credit, and buy property, buy real estate. Doesn't matter who you are in America. If you have the credit and you got the cash flow, you can do it.
But see, that's the problem. A lot of times we don't have that. So how we yes, we've seen a lot of growth as a people, but we still got a lot of people that don't have that. You still got a lot of people that don't have bank accounts. You know what I'm saying? So is it realistic that we can actually do this? You know what I'm saying? That's really the question that I want to ask.
Yes, I definitely think it's realistic as long as everyone clearly understands that this isn't a short term, that it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
That it's something that will take possibly a generation to do. Because, if you think about it, as you've already alluded to, you're talking about a group who has been economically depressed for hundreds of years, right?
Right.
And now we're talking about a situation where, yes, there are a few people who have started to see some upward mobility, but that's only a few.
Right.
And obviously there's so many more who need the help, getting up to the next level. And so it is 100% something that's a long-term project. When I say a long-term project, we're talking about 20, 30 years
Right.
worth of work and time that needs to take place where, people can learn skills, build businesses, whatever that looks like for those specific, individuals, and begin to invest their money into a specific community in order to make it their own. And so, yeah, I mean, it could happen. It could certainly happen. It's just going to take time.
And let me add
That's
this.
just, yeah.
Let me add this. When you look at a lot of our communities, like I always had this idea that I think one of the number one problems with our communities is that we develop them. I mean, not maybe we may not develop them, but how they're developed is a number one reason why we're so we're always the victim of gentrification, because we don't have a lot of office buildings or office space in black African American communities. Whereas, we just mainly have residential. So we don't actually work, or we don't actually own businesses, or there's no business inside of our communities. You know what I'm saying? Versus you might have like a grocery store, a barber shop, but that's pretty much it. Whereas you go to, well-to-do, more established neighborhoods, and they have office buildings, and I want to know if we were like now you have the like where you have podium construction, and basically that's just like, okay, you have one. You have a ground floor that has shops at the bottom, and then you have like residential apartments above. Is that a type of construction that could be useful to helping us like create our own communities and stave off the gentrification?
Hard question to answer, and here's why. One, I think that most businesses are going to follow the money first.
Right.
They're going to follow the locations, the areas. They want to be where their business has an opportunity to thrive. Period. And that makes perfect sense. And so, if we're talking about a neighborhood that is in that where most of the people who live there don't have the economic means to support the businesses, then you really can't expect too many businesses to be there unless they are, businesses that can be ran at, very low cost,
Right.
or as you mentioned, a grocery store chain that has everybody needs groceries,
Right.
and you're talking about an entity that has millions of dollars behind it to support it. So so I think that becomes the difficulty. So it kind of goes back to the fact that it's one reason why it's going to take so long to accomplish, because I think the first thing that has to happen personally is first there just needs to be people who just have a stable income living in those communities. And so if you get one family who buys on on Ninth Street. I'm making up streets, by the way, but Ninth Street, right?
Right.
That's near downtown. It used to be, or it is, the hood, whatever you want to call it. But it's a high area where gentrification is occurring or could occur. But if you get one family who is stable, who decides to move there, who are African Americans, Hispanics, and then they tell their family, they tell their friends, whatever, and then those people decide to buy around the corner, and then those people decide to buy around the corner. Now you're starting to you're starting to put the neighborhood in a situation where you're starting to get people who actually got a little bit of money, who can support some of these local businesses that need their money. Period. And so when that happens, then you can talk about, more businesses and bigger businesses starting to move into those locations, because otherwise they just won't do it.
And then,
They won't do it. They're always going to first think about, okay, where can we grow? Where can we support our bottom line?
all right, but let me add you this though. Like now, and P, you could jump in on this if you want to. When you see like Hispanics come, like you see them, they buy into a shopping center. And now you look 5 years later, the whole shopping center is Hispanics. I mean Hispanic businesses. Whereas you don't see that with African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like we predominantly own barbershops. We really not in the corner store business. We really just we don't own the hair supply chain. We just really just do hair, and that's pretty much what they've allowed us to have as businesses. But when you look at the Hispanics, I mean they kind of came in, and yeah, they worked and they kept working. Now they own a strip mall. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, how can we get to that level? What say you, P? Because when you look at it, it's just like, what are we doing wrong that they are doing right? You understand?
It's like asking the same question we've always asked. How can you have black unity? You wanna answer the question that you just asked me. You gotta first answer the question, how can we have black unity? The problem, how can we get a conglomerate? How can we have power blocks if we don't have unity? We're too busy doing what we've always done. It goes back to the Willie Lynch syndrome created, however many years ago, where they had this 500-year plan to make the black man stay down. We still haven't overcome Willie Lynch. We're still not the community that the Hispanics are. We're not the community that a lot of Caucasians are. We're not the community that the Chinese or the Asian population are. We're not the community that the lesbian, gay, and bisexuals are.
That's true.
Until we get unity, we'll never be able to do anything, because divided will fall every single time. We don't have enough money individually to do anything. And the powers that be amongst our community that do have the money, I mean, how many times you heard Jay-Z come to Southeast and say, well, who has an idea, let's put it to work? I don't know what they're doing. I'm not going to sit here and say the man hasn't done anything, because I don't know. But I know he hasn't come over here. He hasn't asked me about it. Right. You got to have the money. The money is the power. We don't have the money. If we don't get together and put the money together as a team, you can't answer that question that you just asked.
True that. But back to what you were saying, like because say if we all start, maybe we don't all have good jobs, but we have jobs, you understand? And like you were saying, we put the unity in it, and we all give a little bit here and there, and we kind of build up a block rather than, one person comes with a lot of resources and the rest of us just sort of like a trickle down effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes back to a mindset with us, and I don't know what is, like you said, it's going to take a generation or two for us to even get to that point where we're ready to address this thing. Because when you look at it now, gentrification is going to happen, and a lot of times it's probably going to happen to us, because for some reason wherever we go, we lower the property value. So I guess you just wait long enough, and I guess you can cash in. Like you said, it's like the stock market. So hopefully in the near future, us as a people, we can just, I don't know, man, we can just pull it together and figure out something. Because do you think it's a lack of leadership in our community, or what do you think, Steve?
Well, yeah. So I think it's smart for us to definitely take it one step at a time. I think the questions you're asking are really big questions.
Right.
And that those are of issues that simply cannot be achieved uh, quickly, and it also requires so many other different variables to be connected and in tune with one another. As P already mentioned, the idea of unity, etc. Uh, uh, but how do you get there? Of course, is well. First, let's just start with the individual family, and the individual family, if they are struggling to make ends meet, if they are suffering because of bad credit, if they're in a position where, they just don't know what it's going to look like next week, they just don't know. And let's start there. And that situation is, okay, what needs to happen with this specific situation for this particular family? Now, obviously, you can't help everybody, but the point is that if everyone is doing a real and true assessment of themselves and saying, okay, what can I do to bring more income into this household? Now, I get it. Sometimes you're talking about some really difficult situations where someone might be an ex-con, or you're talking about a single mother who's trying to feed her kids and she only has so much time in a day. There's so many different scenarios, but we can do the best that we can, and we're just saying that, okay, if first this particular family and this family and this family and this family can start to figure out how can we just start to make some money for our family on a consistent basis and make enough where we can save, make enough where we can start to pay down some debt, maybe start making some really difficult choices as it pertains to, some of the purchases we make. Do we really need those pairs of shoes? Do we really need to buy that much for Christmas? Do we need to do all of this type of stuff? If we start there, then obviously that's a start. That's a start. Because it's going to require, as you said, not just one person or a couple of people who have massive resources to come and just drop money on a particular location or location. It's going to require everybody to start to kind of get in line. And so I think that if we can, at the very least, start with the families beginning to be empowered and understanding how to first just do a budget, just do a financial budget, nothing big, nothing major, then that's a step. That's a baby step towards progress. Right. And then over time, what will happen is, okay, we can start talking about, all right, the Jones got, a business going on. We know that the Smiths, they're doing okay, at least from what they told us. Maybe we can start talking with them about the possibility of us going in as an investor group and buying up, these three properties, whether they be residential or commercial. And we all have an ownership interest in them, right? I mean, that is something that can work, but you got to get there first. And by the way, though, I mean, it's not to say that there aren't people who can do that now.
Right.
There are. There are people who can do that now. And in fact, there are people who don't even know that they can do it now who can do it now.
Right.
You don't have to be like the biggest owner within a group.
Right.
You could have like a super minority share of like less than 5% and still see some type of income come into the household. Let's say if you bought three spaces within the strip mall. That's great. That's fantastic. And so you may not be the biggest owner out of the group, but you're getting something and you're doing your part.
Right.
So I think that is already doable. But from a long-term perspective, I think if we can get more people to be in line with that type of idea, then we got a real chance.
Hey, man. Well, I appreciate you for being on the show, man. I thank you. Once again, man, you got any parting words, P, before we go?
No parting words.
You're good. But, man, like I said, man, basically,
we gotta get our shit together.
We do, man. We do. And basically, what if you didn't really learn anything from this show, is that, man, gentrification will continue to occur until we revitalize our minds and the way we see one another. Revitalization starts mentally. Uh, there will be no growth until we revitalize that first. We will continue to see our communities taken away from us until we, like, you hear this statement, everybody's talking about stay woke and all this. I mean, we woke and we woke. Yeah, you got a bunch of people that's awake, but we ain't got nobody really leading us anywhere, or we just woke though, So what we have to do is first revitalize our minds, and once we do that, I think then we'll really see true progress. So, man, thank y'all for being on the show, man. Appreciate you, Steve, man. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure with you, P,
Good
man.
talking to you, Steve.
You too.
All
All right.
right, brother.
So to the next time we see y'all, man, like we say every weekend, man, don't be stupid. Stay woke, but first revitalize your mind first. Let's work on that first, and then let's put this money together and really create the change that our community needs. All right. So until the next time we see y'all, man, y'all be good. Don't be stupid. And let's work these things, get unified. So, man, I'ma holler at you, P. Good seeing. To the next time I see you, brother. Hey, for all y'all that want to check out this episode and other episodes, go to arewenomentalk.com, arewenomentalk.com.